Okay, greetings guys. So today we will discuss our midterm lectures. So previously sa prelim, ang last na diniscuss natin ay yung ating mean, median, and mode. Ngayon, ang i-discuss natin yung tinatawag natin na measures of dispersion. When we say disperse, gaano ba kakalat yung ating data? Sa research, importante na yung data natin ay hindi kalat-kalat. Gusto natin yung data natin is pointing into a certain conclusion. Ayaw natin na yung data natin ay watak-watak at iba-iba yung possible na conclusions niya. Okay? So we have several types of measures of dispersion, range, mean deviation, variance, as well as the standard deviation. So hindi na tayo magtatagal, punta tayo sa first lecture or first measure of dispersion, yung tinatawag natin na range. So the range is already discussed sa ating prelim. Kung natatandaan nyo pa, si range ay maximum minus minimum. Okay? Hanapin natin yung highest value, subtract the lowest value. Okay? It is considered to be a rough measure because nakadepende lang siya sa dalawang variables. Yung highest saka yung lowest. We don't care kung ano yung mga values sa in between. Kaya hindi siya, siya yung least accurate na measure of dispersion. Okay? And it can be easily affected by yung tinatawag natin na outliers. Ang mga outliers natin na data, yung data points na sobrang layo niya from the average or dun sa clustering ng ating data. So here is the formula. Highest value minus lowest value. Okay? We have here an example. If we have data set A, the following data, and then data set B to be the following data, we will try to compute our mean, median, and mode first para i-describe natin siya ng maayos. Pero kung titignan natin yung mean, median, and mode ni set A tapos ni set B, it will appear as pareho sila lahat. Pareho sila ng mean, pareho sila ng median, pareho sila ng mode. Sir, how do we interpret this kind of data na pareho si mean, median, and then si mode? We will start taking a look at the measures of dispersion. Dito na papasok yung computation ni range. Okay? So the range is given by lowest minus highest. So here we have 77 minus 65. So I think typo ito. So 77 minus 65 as well as sa set B 100 minus 42. Taking a look at the difference, we will get that set A is equal to, ilan na nga to? So 77 minus 65, ito dapat ay 12, ito naman ay 58. So kung mas mataas ang range nito, ibig sabihin mas makalat si set B, which is madali naman siyang makita. So we want our data to look something similar to the data of set A kasi nga lapit-lapit siya. Okay? The ranges indicate that the data in set B are more widely spread than in data set A. Mas gusto natin yung data set A kasi siya ay less spread out. Okay? So aside from the range, we will have our mean deviation. From the word mean, or yung mean, yung ating average, kung natatandaan nyo pa. Nakadepende siya sa ating average. Kaya naman, yung ating formula is given by the following. We have the sum of x minus the mean. So this is our mean. Okay? X bar all over n. Okay? So x minus x bar, which is our mean. So dito, in case meron tayong negative value, kukunin natin yung ating absolute value. So, kung hindi pa familiar sa inyo, pag meron tayong absolute value, yung negative gagawin niyang positive. Okay? And then take the sum divided by n, which is the total number of frequencies. Okay? Bigyan natin ng example. If we have the following one, so we have here x is equal to 2, 5, 8, 9, 12 hanggang kay 18. Alin ba dito yung ating data or alin dito yung ating deviation or gaano ba kakalat yung ating data. So the first step is, since nakadepende nga siya kay mean, hahanapin muna natin si mean. Okay? Paano kunin si mean? Kunin nyo lang yung average. So you do that part. I think ang makukuha nyo dito ay 9.57. So imamawas natin si 9.57 sa mga numbers na to get the following. So we have 2 minus 9.57, we get negative. So dapat negative to, 7.57. And 5 minus 9.57, we get 2.57. So dito meron tayong mga negative values, kaya sa next part, kukunin natin yung positive nila. Taking the positive parts or taking the absolute value, we get positive numbers all throughout. The next step is to what? Take the sum. Taking the sum of the x minus x bars, eto, kunin natin yung total nito, we will arrive at the answer 26.57. Pero kung maaalala nyo, yung formula ng MD, meron siyang divided by n. So, i-divide natin siya sa total number of frequency, which is what? We get 26.57 divided by the total number of frequency, we get 3.7957. Okay? Okay. Naging 3.7957 kasi dinivide natin siya sa 7. Okay? Yun yung ating MD. So, ang gusto natin, mas mababa si MD. If we have a lower mean deviation, which it just means na lower yung ating spread ng data natin. Okay? Next one, aside from the mean deviation, we have our standard deviation. So, a measure of standard of dispersion that is less sensitive to extreme values or yung ating mga outliers, ang tawag natin doon ay si standard deviation. The standard deviation of a set of numerical data makes use of the amount by which each individual data value deviates from the mean. Okay? Halos ganun lang rin sila sa mean deviation. Pero this time, we will take the square all over n and then take the square root. Okay? So, the mean or the standard deviation has two formulas depende kung population or sample yung data natin. Kung population yung data natin, ang pinagkaiba lang niya ay yung divisor sa loob. We get divided by n. Pag sample, divided by n minus 1. Okay? Huwag kayong malito. Itong mu na ito, yan lang rin yung ating mean. Itong x bar, siya lang rin yung ating mean. Okay? Mag-provide tayo ng examples. The following numbers were obtained by sampling a population. So, 2, 4, 7, 12, 15. We need to find the standard deviation of the sample. Okay? We have several steps. The first one is to find the mean of the numbers. For each number, calculate the deviation. So, isubtract natin yung mean. And then, calculate the square of each deviation and find the sum of these square deviations. And then, finally, if the data is a population, divide by n. If the data is a sample, divide by n minus 1. And then, finally, find the square root of the quotient in step 4. Okay? Take a look at this example. So, step 1. The mean of the number is, ganito lang rin, 2 plus 4 plus 7 plus 12 plus 15 divided by 5, we get 40 over 5, which is equal to 8. So, this will be our mean. Step 2. For each number, calculate the deviation between the number and then the mean. So, dito, subtract lang natin si ating mean. 2 minus 8, negative 6. 4 minus 8, negative 4. 7 minus 8, negative 1. 12 minus 8, 4. And then 15 minus 8, we get 7. Okay? And then next step, step 3, calculate the square of each deviation. I-square lang natin siya. Negative 6 squared is 36. Negative 4 squared is 16. And so on, so forth. Step 4, we must take the what? Because we have a sample of n equal to 5 values. Sample daw siya. So, we divide it by n minus 1. Si 118 dito, siya yung sum ng ito. Okay? So, since 118 divided by n minus 1, we get 89.5. And then finally, 29.5 dapat to. 29.5. So, finally, since kinukuha natin yung standard deviation, kailangan natin i-take yung square root niya. And then the square root of 29.5 is equal to 5.43. This will now be our standard deviation. Okay? Alright. You try this. So, find the standard deviation of the following values. 5, 8, 16, 17, 18, and 20. Okay? You may pause the video and then continue after you do this. Okay? Next, we have another example. So, example 3. A consumer group has tested a sample of 8 size D batteries from each of 3 companies. The results of the tests are shown in the following table. Okay? Nakadepende yung bumbilya daw natin ay tinest nila kung gaano katagal yung buhay ng isang bumbilya. Okay? So ever so bright, dependable, and then the beacon. If you compute the averages of these three companies, lahat yan ang average nila ay 7. So wala tayong magagawang conclusion, kaya kailangan natin tignan yung kanyang standard deviation. So taking a look at the standard deviation, so kinompute na niya. So sa ever so bright, ang standard deviation natin ay 1.328. Sa dependable, 0.719. And then sa beacon, we have 0.877. Okay, so by just taking a look at the standard deviation, we can say na yung data ng bumbilya sa dependable ay less spread, which means mas consistent siya ay mas constant. Okay, kaya nga tinawag siya na dependable. Okay, so if you were to buy a light bulb based on the standard deviation, gusto nyo yung mas mababa yung standard deviation. So in this case, yun yung brand na dependable. Okay, next, aside from the standard deviation, we have the measure that is called the variance. So a statistic known as the variance is also used as a measure of dispersion. Okay, so si variance, madali lang naman siyang computein. Pag na-compute na natin si standard deviation, i-multiply lang natin siya sa kanyang sarili. Okay, yun si variance. So, kung sigma yung standard deviation ng population natin, sigma squared yung kanyang variance. Kung S yung ating standard deviation, S squared yung ating variance. Okay? Find the example of the variance for the sample given in example 2. So, yung nahanap natin kanina, kung natatandaan nyo, yung standard natin, deviation natin ay squared ng 29.5. Okay? So, since the variance is the square of the standard deviation, i-square lang natin siya sa ating mga calculus. So, kung meron tayong square root at saka square, yan ay magka-cancel out, leaving us with the value 29.5. So, our variance is equal to 29.5. Okay? So, ang gusto rin natin, syempre, yung less yung variance. Okay? Pinapakita ko lang sa inyo kung paano mag-compute, pero kayong bahala. Pag meron kayong dalawang data types, you will have to choose the data set that is less variable. Okay? Okay, so aside from the variance, standard deviation, and then the range, we have here the computation for the coefficient of variation as well as the measure of skewness. Okay, ano ba itong tinatawag natin na coefficient of variation? Unlike other measures of variability, the coefficient of variation is a relative measure. Relative to what? It is relative to our mean na makikita natin mamaya sa kanyang definition. It is particularly useful when comparing the variability of two or more sets of data that are expressed in different units of measurements. Okay, so it can easily be used to compare two types of data sets. For example, meron tayong data sets kung gaano ba katagal ang kalayo ang natatravel ng isang kotse. Yung isang dataset ay naka-kilometers, yung isa naman ay naka-meters. So, regardless of the units used, pwede pa rin natin siyang i-compare using our coefficient of variation. Okay? So, the coefficient of variation measures the standard deviation relative to the mean. Okay? Nakadepende siya kay ating mean. So, the CV, or coefficient of variables, can be easily computed by standard deviation divided by our mean times 100. Okay, so in this case, yung x bar natin, siya pa rin yung ating mean. Okay, huwag kayong malito ha. So by this time, dapat alam nyo na kung ano si x bar. At si SD naman, para madaling tandaan, standard deviation. Okay, the coefficient of variation is also useful in the comparison of two or more sets of data which are measured in the same units but differ to an extent that a direct comparison of respective standard deviation is not very helpful. So, anong ibig sabihin nito? Diba, pag nag-fail yung ating measure of central tendency, pare-pareho sila lang mean, median, and mode, ang hahanapin natin yung range sa standard deviation. Kaya what happens if our range and standard deviation ay pareho pa rin? Or wala tayong magawang conclusion, hindi siya helpful kasi nga magkalapit din lang yung standard deviation. We will try to look at our coefficient of variation. Okay? Pag pareho yung are very near each other yung ating standard deviation. Tignan natin itong example na to. Suppose a potential investor is considering the purchase of shares. So dito sa stock market, we have two companies, companies A at saka C, companies B. Titingnan natin kung gaano ba yung best investment para dun sa ating investor. If neither company offered dividends to its shareholders and if both companies were rated equally high in terms of potential growth, so pareho sila ng rating, which makes it difficult to choose kung saan ka mag-i-invest, kay company A ba o kay company B. The potential investor might want to consider the volatility of the two stocks to aid in the investment decision. Okay? So, familiar ba kayo? If you're doing stocks or familiar kayo sa stock market, you know what volatility is. Pag sinabi nating volatile ang isang stock, mabilis magbago yung kanyang presyo. Okay? Bigla siyang tataas and then suddenly babagsak din yung kanyang stock price. Pagdating sa investment, ayaw natin ng ganito. Gusto natin mag-invest tayo sa isang stock na even though mabagal yung kanyang pagtaas ng value, consistent siya. Okay? Ayaw natin yung one day tataas siya then biglang babagsak. Okay? Parang sa cryptocurrency lang. For example, bumili ka ngayon ng Bitcoin, mataas yung value niya and then tomorrow, bababa yung value niya tapos saka ka nag-sell, malulugi ka. Okay? Ayaw natin ng volatile na stocks. Kaya mako-compute natin yung volatility ng isang stock using the coefficient of variation. Okay? So, base dun sa ating formula, kailangan alam natin yung average natin at saka yung ating standard deviation. Okay? So, for company A, we have an average of 50 over the past months with a standard deviation of 10. So, ang mean natin, 50. Ang standard deviation natin ay 10. Sa company B naman, ang ating average naman ay 12 at saka ang standard deviation natin ay 4. Alin kaya yung company na mas magandang pag-investan? So, it would be more appropriate for the potential investor to consider the variability or yung volatility ng ating price relative to the average price, okay? Para malaman natin kung ano yung best na investment, okay? So, the coefficient of variation, yung formula natin, is equal to standard deviation divided by the mean times 100%. So, CV nung company A is equal to 10 divided by 50, which is 20%. Pagdating naman dito sa company B, kinompute natin 4 divided by 12, 100% times 100% is equal to 33.3%. Okay, so as you can see here, mas volatile yung ating company B, even though mas mukha siyang malapit. Kasi sir, malapit naman yung 4 sa 12. Kumpara mo naman sa 10 to 50. Okay? So, since relative tong ating coefficient of variation, depende siya dun sa ating mean. So, kung 10 nga, tapos kung 10 yung ating SD, and then yung mean natin ay 50, ang coefficient of variation niya will be 20. As well as, dito sa B naman, kung 4 yung ating mean, at saka yung standard deviation natin ay 4 at saka yung mean natin ay 12, we will get a coefficient of variation which is 33.3. Again, ayaw natin na yung data natin ay makalat, so we will take the less value. So, 20% lang siya. Okay? It follows that the relative average, the share price of company B stocks is much more variable or unstable than that of company A. So, kung tayo ay mag-i-invest, mas pipiliin natin yung less variable or yung mas mababa yung coefficient of variation natin, which is yung ating company A. Okay? So, yan yung coefficient of variation. And our last topic for today is the measure of skewness. The measure of skewness are generally called the Pearson's first coefficient of skewness and Pearson's second coefficient of skewness. There are two coefficients na ating ko-computein for today. Okay? Measure of skewness are used in determining the degree of asymmetry of a distribution. A distribution which is not symmetrical is said to be skewed. Okay? Kung naaalala nyo pa to sa high school mathematics nyo or even elementary, I think, meron tayo ditong discussion about skewness. Okay? So, taking a look at the graph, ito ay isang rough sketch lang. Itong positive, kung titingnan natin itong symmetric distribution natin, relative tayo sa mean. Nakatingin tayo sa mean. Kung titingnan natin to, sundan nyo tong red line, okay? Ito yung ating tinatawag na symmetric distribution. Bakit? Kasi sir, kasi yung values natin with respect to the mean ay equal. So, yung numbers ng data points natin sa left ng mean or ng median natin ay same lang ng numbers dito sa right, okay, ng ating median, okay? But if we take a look at this one, so ito, kung titignan natin to, ito ang tawag natin dito ay positively skewed, okay? Why is it positively skewed? Kasi nga leaning to the left side naman siya. So as you can see here, nandito yung ating median, pero most of our data is less than our median kasi nandito siya sa part na ito. Dito sa tail niya, unti na lang yung ating frequency dito. Okay? And then last, yung ating negatively skewed, ganito yung itsura ng kanyang graph. Okay? If we take a look at this, ito yung median. Karamihan ng data points natin ay nasa left or nasa right side compared mo dito sa left. That's why we refer to it as negatively skewed. Okay? Yan lang yung graphical representation ng ating skewness. So first, we have the Pearson's number 1 coefficient of skewness. So ito ay mga formula lang naman. The formula used in calculating Pearson's number 1 coefficient is the following. So i-refer natin or i-denote natin so as skewness number 1, SK1, which is equal to the mean minus mode all over standard deviation. Okay? Tandaan nyo na lang itong formula na ito. If we have to consider an example, we have this one. Consider a set of data on monthly sales of a company's product. The mean was found to be 240,000 and then the mode was found to be 135,000 and with a standard deviation of 85,000. So this is just a plug and play ng ating data. So if we plug it in, we have mean which is equal to 240,000 minus mode which is 135,000 all over our standard deviation of 85,000, we get 1.24. So paano to i-interpret? Then the mode, we obtained a positive coefficient of skewness to the extent of 124% of the standard deviation. Okay, pag negative yan, di sasabihin natin we obtained a negative coefficient of skewness to the extent of 124% of the standard deviation. So again, the less skewed a data set is, the better. Okay, parang variability lang siya. Ayaw natin nang spread out yung data natin. Ganon din sa skewness. Okay? Pagdating naman sa Pearson's number 2 coefficient of skewness, we have this one. So this type of Pearson's coefficient of skewness came as a result of the fact that a precise calculation of mode is difficult in many distributions. Sir, paano ba mahirap hanapin si mode? Di ba siya lang naman yung pinakamarami? Pag yung dataset natin ay umabot na ng say millions or hundreds of thousands, mahirap nang hanapin si mode or darating yung time na irrelevant na siya. Kaya ito, meron tayong formula na hindi nakadepende kay mode. So ito yung Pearson's number 2 coefficient of skewness which can be computed by the following formula. We have 3 times the mean minus the median all over the standard deviation. Okay? Let's take a look at an example. Consider the data on monthly sales of a company's product, the mean of which was found to be 901,000, ang median 282,000, and then ang standard deviation ay 102,000. Calculate the Pearson's number 2 coefficient. So dito, plug and play lang naman. We have 3 times 901,000 minus 282,000 all over our standard deviation to be 102,000, which is 18.2. Okay? 18.2 yung ating coefficient of skewness. Okay? Hindi na to relevant. Isama lang siya sa ating PowerPoint. Okay? As similar to the first one, ang gusto natin ay, gusto natin mas bababa yung ating coefficient of skewness. Kasi gusto natin normally distributed yung ating data. Ayaw natin na nag-i-skew siya to the right and then ayaw natin nag-i-skew siya to the left. Okay? Alright. So, that's it for our discussion. So, dito meron lang tayong assignment. So, given the set of the following data, calculate the range. Dito naman, calculate the standard deviation and then hanapin nyo si coefficient of skewness. So, number 1 at saka si number 2. So, this is by pair. You may submit it before next week. Okay? So, kasi dapat dapat assessment to, quiz on the spot, pero gawin ko na lang assignment. Then, I will also send you a Google form of our lecture, okay, para ma-assess natin kung kayo talaga ay nanonood ng ating lecture. So, I think that's it for our discussion. So, I'll see you again on the next lecture.